Hello everyone, welcome to SEO Explains. I'm Gauri Kashyap
And I'm Joycean D'Souza.
and we're doing a recap of the Supreme Court's summer session. We'll be looking into the top judgments, most important hearings, and the biggest developments in the court during the summer session. To be clear, the Supreme Court does not officially follow a session calendar, but for the sake of analyzing performance, we've divided the annual calendar into 4 seasonal sessions. The summer session begins at the end of SC's holy break mid-March and concludes at the onset of the summer break, which started on the 20th this month. Okay, let's begin. So the Supreme Court was really active during this summer session. After a long time, it delivered 6 constitution bench judgments, right?
Yeah, I think the most anticipated judgments of these was the rebellion within the Shiv Sena, which happened last year. Chief Justice Chandrachud's bench held that the events that led to Mr. Eknath Shinde becoming the Maharashtra Chief Minister were illegal. But the court left the actual question of defection by Shiv Sena members per the 10th schedule unanswered. It left all the questions of disqualification up to the Speaker of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly to decide as per procedure. The bench also came down very heavily on Governor Bhagat Singh Koshari for ordering a floor test based on intra-party disputes. They said that he had no objective material to decide that Mr. Uddhav Thackeray had lost confidence of the legislature. Just some dissatisfaction within the political party is not a reason for the governor to call for a floor test. However, the bench upheld the Election Commission's power to decide the outcome of political party splits, but held that the ECI's decision would only have a prospective effect. Mr. Matthew Idikala, who's an independent researcher looking into the matter, wrote on this case and said that the judgment was legally sound but had no real impact on Maharashtra's politics. Since Mr. Uddhav Thackeray resigned voluntarily, the SC did not reinstate him as the Chief Minister. With Mr. Eknath Shinde having already enjoyed the post of the Chief Minister for nearly a year and disqualification proceedings being nowhere in sight, the judgment has hardly changed anything on the ground.
I think the next big judgment this session was definitely the tussle between the Delhi government and the union government over the control of services and administration in the capital city. Here, the court upheld the federal structure envisioned for Delhi under Article 239AA and ruled that the Delhi government must have control over its own civil servants. But the Delhi government's win was short-lived because the union nullified the judgment through an ordinance. It returned the control of services to the union and granted the lieutenant governor, who is a representative of the union, sole discretionary power over the appointment of civil servants in the NCT of Delhi. It's been interesting to see the power struggle between the Delhi government and the union, which has actually been playing out for a while now.
I suppose the next big topic is animal rights, specifically the Jallikattu judgment, where 5 judges unanimously upheld the practices of Jallikattu, Kambala, and Bailgada Shariat, which are different versions of bull taming or bullock cart racing in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. So back in 2014, the Supreme Court had banned Jallikattu in Animal Welfare Board of India versus A. Nagaraja. However, post this judgment, these 3 states brought in different amendments to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, claiming that these sports would now be played with minimal cruelty. The bench agreed with this reasoning and said that the amendments created sufficient precautions to substantially minimize any cruelty against animals. They refused to disrupt the Tamil Nadu government's recognition of Jallikattu as a cultural practice, and at a broader level, they avoided extending fundamental rights to animals, saying that they did not want to venture into judicial adventurism. Animal rights activist Mr. Alok Hisarwala Gupta, in an interview with Supreme Court Observer, told us that this judgment was a significant setback in securing basic rights against animal cruelty.
3 other constitution bench judgments were delivered this summer session. One on the Supreme Court's power to directly grant divorce under Article 142, which gives it the power to pass any order towards the ends of justice. The other judgment was on the union's petition asking for more compensation to Bhopal gas tragedy victims. The third judgment was on the validity of arbitration agreements when stamp duty was not paid. We've discussed these cases in our summer session judgments review on our website. Don't forget to check it out. Moving on, the Supreme Court heard some cases of great public importance this session. The petition for queer marriage equality, or same-sex marriage as it was popularly known, is at the top of this list. A 5-judge bench heard this case nearly 30 hours across 10 days and reserved the judgment. The other main constitution bench hearing that was completed was the challenge for the extension of tenures for CBI and ED directors. Mainly, this case concerns the independence of Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate, which are both investigative bodies that often look into the government itself. The petitioners expressed concern that if the union could dangle tenure extensions to directors in return for union-friendly behavior, then these organizations would lose their independence. The court has reserved judgment in this case.
The court also completed hearings on the validity of the group of companies doctrine in arbitration law. Here, the bench will decide if non-signatory companies can be included in arbitration proceedings if they are closely related to signatories to an arbitration agreement. The decision to accept or reject this group of companies doctrine will have far-reaching ramifications on arbitration law, which often involves corporate dispute resolution across international borders. This too was a 5-judge bench case. Other big hearings that have happened in the Supreme Court this summer session include petitions challenging the early release of Ms. Bilkis Bano's gang rape convicts. The court also heard the challenge to WhatsApp's privacy policy and reviewed the latest report in the Adani Hindenburg controversy. These cases have been discussed in SEO's summer session review of important hearings. Lastly, we come to our institutional review section. We know that there has been some rapid collegium activity during the summer session, with 2 retirements and 2 swift appointments. Justices M.R. Shah and Dinesh Maheshwari retired in May. 2 new judges, Justices K.V. Vishwanathan and P.K. Mishra, were elevated to the Supreme Court in the same month to fill these vacancies. The recommendations made by the Supreme Court Collegium on May 16th were approved within just 2 days by the Union. By the 3rd day, May 19th, the 2 judges had already been sworn in. Previously, the Union has been notorious for sitting on recommendations for months, leaving vacancies across different high courts and the Supreme Court. Justice K.V. Vishwanathan is the 10th Supreme Court judge to be directly elevated from the bar. If the seniority convention is followed, he will be the 4th direct bar appointee to become the Chief Justice of India.
The cabinet saw a major change in its composition recently. Mr. Kiran Rijiju, who was the Union Law Minister for nearly 2 years, was replaced by Mr. Arjun Ram Meghwal. Mr. Rijiju was known for his bold and vocal criticism of the collegium system and strongly advocated for union representation in the judge appointment process. Many have speculated that the reshuffling came in the context of the ongoing string of clashes between the union and the court. It seems the Supreme Court caught on the artificial intelligence trend, and this summer session it launched a project to record oral arguments during court proceedings with the help of AI. And then it would upload the transcripts of courtroom exchanges on the Supreme Court website. Chief Justice Chandrachud said that the success of the live transcription project will make the Supreme Court a true court of record. This was our summer session review. Drop a comment and let us know what you thought was the highlight of this term and what you'd like to see from the Supreme Court when it comes back from vacation.
Thank you for watching SEO Explains. Visit the seobserver.in website for more.